Lions proved to be too much for the Jacksonville Jaguars, completely controlling this football game here in Week 11, winning this matchup 52-6. The only negative light on this positive day is the unfortunate injury to Alex Anzalone. It appears he's suffered a broken forearm. We will keep our ear to the ground and see what the Lions say coming out of this matchup with Jacksonville. However, it does appear to be a long-term injury and very unfortunate. However, the Lions did come out victorious, controlling this game from top to bottom, again improving to 9-1, winning this football game 52-6. Welcome back to the channel. I am your host, Johnny Gaz. Thank you for returning for another video. Let's go through our game reaction. We'll look at the team stats, the box score. I'll give up my game MVP and all the game balls, and we'll talk about what this means for the Lions' future. Let's go. Before we talk about this blowout, make sure to like the video if you dig the vibe here at Johnny Gaz Sports. I'd love it if you consider subscribing if you haven't already. We're on the road to 3,000 now, thanks to you guys. And if you hit the notify bell, you won't miss any future videos. There is a membership option available, and we just came off our live game play-by-play. We just watched the 52-6 domination of Jacksonville. We also do our tier list, a ton of other fun stuff, but there's always free content here. Make sure to come back and see me on future videos. I appreciate your guys' involvement. Let's dive into this Week 11 victory. We are really living in an amazing time of Lions football. Let's remember to cherish this because this is a special season. Talking about this game individually, they controlled this matchup. Outside of falling behind 3-0 to the Jags, this offense took over and never looked back. Offensively, defensively, special teams, it was a complete performance. There was no gimmicks to this game. They didn't have short fields. They controlled this matchup from top to bottom. Again, winning this football game 52-6. The Lions improve to 9-1. Jacksonville now falls to 2-9. Again, everything the Lions did today seemed to work. Offensively, Ben Johnson, his creativity, the offensive line establishing their dominance early and controlling it throughout the entire game. Jared Goff, coming off of the 5-interception performance, bounced completely back, having a perfect passer rating. Again, we'll talk about that. We'll look at the team stats, the individual stats, this complete domination of Jacksonville here in Week 11. Let's dive into it. I think you have to start with this, and although the defense played miraculous today, holding them to 6 points, the Lions offense scored on all 8 possessions. Matter of fact, they scored touchdowns on their first 7 possessions. Every time they had the ball, they scored a touchdown. Now, they did finally kick a field goal here at the end of the second half there to make it 52-6, and their final possession ended the game. They certainly could have scored points if they wanted to on that last possession, but the Lions will not lose any football games if this is how they're going to play. If this is how they manage their possessions, 7 for 7 to start the game there with touchdowns on each possession is just unbelievable. And again, the Lions ended up winning this football game 52-6. And here are the team stats. And again, in complete, utter dominance by the Lions. 38 first downs to the Jacksonville 10. The efficiency at third down, 6 out of 10 for the Lions, only 2 for 10 for Jacksonville. Lions hit on all 3 of their fourth downs. Look at this total yardage number, 645 total yards to Jacksonville's 170. I believe that's the most yardage in a single game in Lions history. That is incredible. 9 drives apiece. It just shows you the utter dominance of the Lions. Yards per play, 8.5 to the Jags, 3.6. Passing, 449 to 129. Again, we'll look at the individual stats. And again, we knew the Lions offense was a juggernaut compared to Jacksonville. It wasn't that we ever thought Jacksonville's stats would ever hold up, but it's just unbelievable how much the Lions tipped the scales in this game. Rushing yards, 196 to Jacksonville's 41. Lions were perfect in the red zone, 5 for 5. Man, that game against the Buccaneers seems like such a long time ago, doesn't it, at this point? Penalties, again, not astronomical in either direction. Only 6 for 40 for Jacksonville, 4 for 46 for the Lions. And the Lions controlled the possession of the game. They drove long fields, even on good punts by Jacksonville, backing themselves up. They controlled this game, 39-06 for Lions compared to 20-54 for Jacksonville. And let's quickly go through the box score. Let's start with the Jags, obviously. Mac Jones, 17 of 29, 138, had the interception. Lions only got to him once. The 1 sack for 9 yards, really had nothing going on the ground. Travis Etienne, 12 carries, 27 yards. Again, Tank Bigsby was not available for this game, so I think that hurts them. Really, we're not able to get anything going. Receiving for Jacksonville, I thought Brian Thomas Jr. actually played a good game. He played through some injuries, ultimately ended up with 5 receptions for 82 yards. One of my X factors here in my game preview was Evan Ingram. He finished with 5 receptions for 28. Defensively, for Jacksonville, I thought Oluwakan was very good. I thought he was their best player out there on the field. He was kind of all over the place. 9 tackles. Tyson Campbell was really their only secondary player to make plays. He had 8 for 5. A couple tackles for loss. Ledbetter had 1. Josh Hines-Allen had 1, but other than that, really wasn't involved. Tyler Lacey with a tackle for loss. That was really it for Jacksonville. Now we got to go through the Lions side of things, and there's a lot of statistics to go through. I will quickly buzz through them. Of course, Jared Goff, recovering from that bad performance in Houston, the 5 uncharacteristic interceptions. And again, we talked about how maybe 3 of those were flukish anyways. Well, he comes back with a bang, 24 of 29, 412 yards, 4 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. Wasn't sacked on the day, a perfect passer rating, right back to his efficient ways. Again, the ground game, that's kind of what gets everything else going. They started that way and finished that way. Everything worked in between. David Montgomery, 15 carries, 75 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs, 11 carries, 69 yards, and a touchdown as well. Got Craig Reynolds in the game, got Sione Vaki in the game. They all seem to run the ball well. The offensive line was humming. Again, they were able to establish themselves 4 or 5 yards downfield before these running backs were being touched. A great day on the ground for the Lions. Got the play-action game working. Again, it was really all working for them. Receiving, and I thought the best player of the day was maybe Amon-Ra St. Brown. 11 catches, 161, 2 scores. Could do anything he wanted on the field, any pattern he wanted. He was all over the place. Him and Jared Goff, as efficient as could be, and I don't think they had a miss today. So again, now they're up to 41, I believe, without an incompletion. That is really incredible. Jameson Williams, 4 receptions, 124, had the big plays all day, the long of 64, and the touchdown, just incredible. Jahmyr Gibbs got involved with the long one for 54. Khalif Raymond, 2 for 30. Tim Patrick was involved, got first downs all day today, 3 for 26. Again, the passing game, everything working there, 449 total yards over the air. Just unbelievable. Defensively, and let's get it out of the way right now, I think we're going to continue to keep our ears pinned on what the deal with Alex Anzalone is. It looks like a broken forearm, and that would keep him out for an extended period of time. So again, we'll see how the Lions adjust. But I thought, again, defensively, even outside of that, they played fantastic. Held the Jaguars to 6 points. They were really not able to get anything going outside of that first drive. Jack Campbell led the way, obviously stepping in when Alex Anzalone gets out of the game via his injury. And again, they don't replace each other, but Jack Campbell then becomes your de facto captain and leader of the defense. He led the team with 9 tackles today and had the half sack. He also had the tackle for loss. Brian Branch, again, establishing and reestablishing and just doing everything possible as that safety jack of all trades. 7 tackles today. Again, he was all over the field, big hits. Anzalone even being out of the game for the entire of the second half. 3rd in tackles today with 5. Good to have Malcolm Rodriguez back. He had 4. Carlton Davis, even playing through his thumb injury, had 3. Amik Robinson had a tackle for loss. The other half sack went to Cesaria Smith. So although he wasn't really overly involved, I did see some pressures out of him, and he did get involved in the stat sheet. Gets a half sack. Team credited for 1 sack on the day. And, of course, another Kirby Joseph interception. I believe that's his 8th on the season. Just having an incredible year, continuing his ball hawk ways. It just seems like every week he finds another way to put his hands on the football, and he did again today, making a fantastic play on what was a bad passing attack overall for Jacksonville. Special teams-wise, nothing really to write home about in the punt return or kick return game. Khalif Raymond wasn't really able to get much going. 3 returns for 30 yards on a 15-yard long. Jake Bates did hit on his only field goal attempt. It was a 54-yard long. So, again, he remains perfect on the season. He was 7 for 7 on his extra points. And guess what? Jack Fox wasn't needed today. All right, now let's dive into my player awards, hand out some game balls, talk about the game MVP. Let's start defensively. Again, they were so good offensively, it's hard to overshadow what was an amazing defensive performance. I mean, they just held them down, and nothing was really going outside of the first drive. We got a little nervous when they put up 3 points on the opening drive, but outside of that, they were really fantastic today. So I'm going to start with the defense. I think Jack Campbell deserves a game ball. Again, once Alex Anzalone goes down, he just becomes responsible, I think, for so much more. And we'll talk about that maybe in a future video. So I'm going to give him a game ball. Again, I think Kirby Joseph certainly deserves one. I'm also going to hand one to the other safety, Brian Branch. Those 2 safeties are miraculous. We're so lucky to have them. The Lions deploy them in so many different ways. Kirby Joseph is kind of your free safety, just back there all the time, will make all the plays you need. And Brian Branch will come up and hit anybody at any time, anywhere. Just really good. Both those guys deserve game balls. Now, let's switch it over to the offense. And there's so many opportunities for game balls, game MVP. You know, I think you got to start with Jared Goff. And I know I've said it over and over again, but to recover from that game, you knew it didn't faze him too much. He's not the same guy I think he was in LA and then what he was in maybe the first year here in Detroit. He's just so confident. He's so efficient. even when the play breaks down and it's not there for him, you obviously now see him being okay with letting the play go. He doesn't force his hand, he doesn't force the issue, he doesn't force plays, and he's not making mistakes because of that. So because of all of those reasons, you knew that the Houston game was kind of an anomaly. Well, obviously it was here. 24 of 29, 412, 4 scores at a 14.2 yard average and 158.3 rating according to ESPN. Perfect. So everything you could ask for. He certainly gets a game ball and is in the discussion for MVP here for Week 11. Both running backs, I think, also deserve game balls. Both of them have had it working. The offensive line had it working. They deserve a game ball as well in general. They did anything they wanted to do today, and really in general is always the catalyst for everything else the Lions do. It works the play action. Everything else stems from that. They're able to work the short, medium, and long crossing routes. Everything plays off of that. So those two guys deserve a game ball. I think Jameson Williams deserves a game ball as well. He made big plays multiple times today. My only nitpicky thing would be as he finishes the play in the end zone, let's just speedy it all the way through. Just go through the back of the end zone and then start to slow down, and then we'll worry about the celebration. Again, it's just small things. But again, I thought he was good. He made not only the big plays, he also made a couple good hands catches over the middle, and he continues to show that week to week. So that's great to see. But I think my overall MVP here for Week 11 is Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, you can't really beat this performance. 11 receptions, 161 yards, 14.6 yard average, had 2 touchdowns on the day. This is 8 straight games now that he has a touchdown reception. That's a franchise record. All 11 targets, all caught. And it just continues this efficiency, this leadership, he's the captain. It's everything you want in a player, and he leads this offense, and he led them today in Week 11. He is my overall MVP here against the Jaguars. Lions win this football game 52-6, completely controlling Week 11. Jacksonville Jaguars. Lions improve to 9-1. Jags drop to 2-9. Again, the Lions will stay on top of the NFC North, and they will stay on top of the NFC in general. We will monitor the other results here through the weekend on a Monday night. Lions will now go to Indianapolis in Week 12. This will be on November 24th. It'll be a 1 p.m. kickoff back on Fox. Again, we'll go through our report card here for Week 11 in the next couple days. We'll get our game preview this week. We'll keep our ears to the ground on the Alex Anzalone injury, so definitely come back and see me. I appreciate all your guys' time. Make sure to slap the like button if you dig the vibe here at Johnny Gas Sports. If you haven't already, I'd love it if you consider subscribing. We're on the road to 3,000 now, thanks to you guys. And there's a membership option available. If you hit that little blue join button, I'll walk you through how you can become a part of the family. More than anything else, make sure to take care of yourself and your mental health. That's so important. And I want to make sure you come back and see me on future videos. Again, Lions, complete control of this game in Week 11. They win 52-6, improving to 9-1. What a great Sunday of football. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a great week ahead. Go Lions.